One of the other things worth tuning for particular presets are the settings within the leap motion. So I wanted to show you those as well. So up in the top corner of the leap motion, you can see that there's a little gear icon. I'll hit that and I will get into the calibration window. And there are two windows here. So the first is working space. And basically, relative to the leap motion, this is telling you what is the maximum motion that this is going to consider as full motion. So basically, what's your working space for your hand while you're controlling this? Some people would like small, subtle movements. Some people might like larger, more sweeping movements. And the way you set this is just it observes your hand. So you press the learn button. I'll do that. You put your hand in the middle. That's what it says here. You put your hand in the middle, press learn, and then you start to move your hand around your working space. And the bars are observing kind of where I'm moving and calling that the full range of motion. So maybe I'll go a little bit higher there, in and out, maybe a little bit less, something like that. And when you're done, you press learn, you review your results, and that's the end of it. You can say done and carry on from there. I'm going to put a rule in here quickly on the mod wheel so we can see how the mod wheel is moving relative to my hand there. And if I go up here and I learn just a very, very small space there, and I say that I'm done, then my hand moves in this little smaller area, and the full dynamic range is now being sent as a result of a smaller movement. So I will just set that to the defaults because I like them sort of a little bit broader, and I'll say done, and now the dynamics has slowed down to match my hand over that full region. The other thing that you can do is control the finger tracking. So right now it's controlled, it's set to track the center of my palm. That's what it's tracking. It doesn't matter what I do with my fingers. It's tracking the center of my palm. But if I'm interested in a motion like this, maybe I like to do vibrato like that with a couple of fingers, I can go ahead and turn up these fingers and say I want those involved. And now as a result, you can see I move my fingers and the dynamics changes. So that gives me kind of a combined control. I can influence the direction by using my fingers. And if I go back to those settings, I can actually take the palm out of it if I want to, or take it mostly out of it. It's a weighted average that's being used here. So maybe I like my middle finger more. And you can see that my fingers now are controlling a great deal more of the motion. So if I'm using I just get control using the different aspects of it. So again, you just click the icon there, and you can control the working space and finger tracking to really tune it into the kind of expression that you'd like to achieve. I'd like to just demonstrate the details of the rule configuration. I'll go through each one of the parameters there. And for that, I'll use the infinite brass, and I'll just create one performance rule. Guess I'll call it demo. Why not? And I'll make it a left and right motion, and we'll make it send the mod wheel so that it's just sending these dynamics that we're used to. So the details underneath are that can be controlled are these. So let's talk about the motion range first. So you can see that between the blue dots, the little purple dot is showing my actual motion, and that's controlling the full range of dynamics, sort of from 0 to 1, basically from min to max is what's going on. If I want that to occur over a smaller range than my set working space, I can just clamp that range like that. And now between those blue dots is being considered full motion range. So basically this can be used to configure how far your hand has to move to achieve a particular change. I can also make it so that, for example, it's only in the upper half of the range. So I can be working in the lower half of the range, maybe another rule's taking place. And then when I get to the upper half of the range, it starts controlling this parameter. And again, it goes from min to max just within that range. So let me widen that back out. Maybe there. So now this is the full motion range. You can also reverse it. If you're working on something where you want to go to the left to create more of a response, you just hit the reverse. And now you can see it's actually reversed what the pink one is doing. If I flip it again, now it's in step with my hand visually. If I flip it to reversed, it is opposite my hand going the other way. And that translates down, of course, to the dynamics that's being sent to the instrument. So that twists my head a little bit, so I'll make that forward. The next thing you can do is between here, this is min and this is max of what's being perceived as the motion. You can control how that is mapped through to what's actually going to be sent. So you can use a different shape. Let me use one that is fairly obvious. This is one where it sort of ramps up slowly and then moves more quickly. So if you watch the dynamics as I move my hand, it starts moving slowly and then it picks up speed at the end, even though I haven't changed the speed of my hand. So it's ramping up towards the end there. And there's a number of these as well. There's ones that are I call them easing, sort of starts slow, moves fast, and ends slow, which might be appropriate for certain instruments. Things that I might use on a bending note, I might use a falling one where the initial pitch bend is fairly dramatic, and then it tails off at the end. So getting that last bit requires additional motion. So you can shape the response to what feels natural for the instrument in that case. So we can, I'm going to put this linear for the rest of the explanation. So linear is just straight. And then what you can control is, so this is the level of CC message or bend or whatever's appropriate that's getting sent. So right now, min sends 0 and max sends the maximum value, which is typically 127 is what it is behind the scenes. But so min to max is covering this entire range. If I, for example, don't want my dynamics to go all the way to the bottom, I just want to control the top part of the dynamics, I can clamp this up, let's say halfway, so that now my full range of motion only goes across this range of the CC. So I'm going to move up and down and I get from half to full. On my full motion range, I'm actually getting from half to full on the CC range. So I can use that to control what part of it's controlled, or if I just want like a little change in dynamics according to my hand movement, I just clamp it there, and that's what's being sent, and that's how the dynamics are adjusting to that. So let me open that back up again. And the last thing that's available in here is a stabilization. So right now it's moving pretty much in lockstep with my hand. You can't perceive a delay. If I increase stabilization, I'm going to do it a lot just for show. Then you can see that the dynamics now, I'm going to go all the way to the top, it ranges behind my hand. So it's not as responsive anymore, but it's much more stable. If I move my hand slowly, it takes out the little wiggles and gives me sort of very precise control, just a little bit of lag. If I turn that down, you can see there's little wiggles as my hand moves a little bit. With stabilization, though, it's not really the case. So I can get kind of smoother transitions with stabilization turned on, and it just depends on the instrument what might be appropriate for that. And one more thing that is interesting, if, for example, I was using an up-down motion for this, you can also flip this bar, just to not scramble your brain by having an up and down controlling something that's not up and down. And that's it. So you use those to configure the different rules. And that is how you can set up a patch with multiple rules, detailed configuration, and get just the control you want. When you're done, of course, you can save it as a preset for later. I will also show you in MidiPaw how the preset system works. It's fairly simple, and it's based on text. You can actually email presets around or cut and paste them. So I'll show you how that works. If I let me just bring up a simple preset. So I'll bring up expressive guitar. So there's three rules in this particular preset, and right away you can just say copy the preset to the clipboard, and I'll show you in Notepad. If I paste that, this is what I get. There's a little bit of information about the configuration, and then there's a little entry for each rule. Fairly straightforward. So if I were to, for example, put this into blank, and I were to grab all of that and hit copy, copy. If I go over here and I select paste, it's going to actually add this preset in as if I didn't have it. And it'll do one more interesting thing, which I'll show you. So I hit paste, and I have now got expressive guitar 2. It will not let you save over any preset that's already there. So the fact that I already had an expressive guitar, it just added a 2 to the name. The only way you can update a preset is to start with that preset, change it, and then hit the save button. So for example, if I changed this to be an up and down motion all the way across the board, then where did the up and down go? There it is. Then I would have the option to save my expressive guitar to, boom, save, there we go. And if I were to switch now, I can go expressive guitar, it's my left and right one, or I can go expressive guitar 2, it's my up and down one. I don't want this preset, so I'm going to just trash it. Yes, that's fine. The rules are still there in case I want to play with them, but the preset itself is gone, so I will kill those as well for clarity. This cut and paste functionality, it also applies to the rules. So let's say I made a rule, call it rule A. It doesn't matter much what it is. It's a twist on, I don't know, portamento time. Why, why not? So there's my hand twisting motion, and I clamp it in a particular way that I like. Let's say that was drag and drop. And I have a particular curve. That's cool. So I can actually over here hit copy to clipboard, and I get the rule on the clipboard. Just to show you what that looks like, this is it. It's the same thing we saw on the other preset. This is the description of what I have configured for this rule. So I will kill that. I can, since it's now on my clipboard, I can just hit paste, and it'll put in an exact duplicate. It actually duplicates the name because it might control the same parameter, and it doesn't actually matter. I'll call that rule B, and we'll make rule B be a tilt up and down on I don't know, some other parameter. So as I'm tilting my hand down over that range of expression, that's what I get. And if I make that the full range, then my tilt is doing that, and my twist left right is doing the other one. So that's let's suppose this is a preset for something that I really like. I can now save it as a preset. It puts a name up there for me, new preset, and I'll change that to be sample preset. Hit enter, and there we go. I've now got this thing called sample preset configured. So if I copy that to the clipboard just to show you what it is and paste it into here, this is the tracking of the working range of the finger tracking, and these are the rules that are set for this piece. So rule A is there. You can see it's a twist left right. Portamento. Rule B is there. You can see it's a tilt up and down. So you can take those. If I grab one of those rules, you can even pull it out of a portion of a preset out just between the curly braces, and I'll hit copy on that. So this is rule A, and if I just go here and paste, I'll get a copy of rule A that I just copied from here. It'll create it in here. So a little bit of flexibility with how you can move entire presets and parts of presets. So again, I don't want this. I'm going to delete all of those rules, and I will also delete the sample preset. So that is how the preset system works. Terrific. Thanks very much.